If you're hearing this right now, there's probably someone in your life who made you feel crazy for trusting your own memory. Someone who made you feel lucky to be chosen right before they started tearing you apart. I know exactly why you stayed. It wasn't weakness, it wasn't stupidity, it was something far more calculated than that. And what I'm about to tell you, it's not what you expect. 500 years ago, Niccolo Machiavelli sat in a small farmhouse outside Florence, exiled, humiliated, stripped of everything, and he wrote down what he'd spent a lifetime observing: how power actually moves, how people are actually controlled. Not the way teachers tell you, not the way your parents warned you, the real way. He watched Cesar Borgia, a man who could make you love him on Monday and destroy you by Friday, and you'd thank him for it. Machiavelli didn't condemn that. He studied it, he wrote it down, because he understood something most people never do. Manipulation isn't random, it follows a pattern, always has, and today, I'm giving you the map. First, let me show you what they never taught you. Trick number 1, gaslighting. Here's what's actually happening when someone gaslights you. They're not confused, they're not misremembering, they're engineering your self-doubt, deliberately, systematically. Machiavelli wrote in The Prince that the most effective control isn't force, it's making people question their own judgment. Because the moment you doubt yourself, you outsource your reality to the person standing in front of you. Think about it this way. Your partner explodes at you Thursday night. Saturday morning, they look you in the eye and say, "That never happened." And somewhere in your chest you wonder, maybe you misread it, maybe you were too sensitive. That wondering, that's not confusion, that's manufactured dependency. They just made themselves your only reliable narrator. Tacitus documented this in Imperial Rome. Tiberius Caesar, one of the most psychologically brutal rulers in history, would issue contradictory orders to his officials, then punish them for following the wrong one. His court lived in permanent uncertainty, and permanent uncertainty means permanent control. Trick number 2, love bombing. Before the gaslighting comes something sweeter, something that feels like finally being seen. Love bombing is overwhelming affection deployed as a weapon. Texts at 2 a.m., "I've never met anyone like you." Gifts, intensity, constant presence. It feels like fate. It's designed to feel like fate. Here's what's actually happening. They're creating emotional debt. Rousseau, in The Social Contract, understood that human beings organize their lives around reciprocity. Give someone enough, and their psychology demands they give back. Love bombers exploit that ancient wiring. They flood you with warmth so that when they withdraw it, and they will withdraw it, you'll do anything to get it back. Cesare Borgia did this with entire cities. He'd arrive as a liberator, generous, charismatic, solving problems. Then, once the loyalty was cemented, the terms changed. You weren't foolish for believing it. You were human. But now, you know the mechanism. Say this with me. The intensity was manufactured. My instincts were right. But here's where it gets worse. Because what comes next, it's not what most people tell you. Most people focus on the obvious manipulation. They miss the invisible kind, the kind that works precisely because it feels like love. Everything you've been told about why people stay in toxic relationships is backwards. Trick number 3. Guilt tripping. You've been told guilt tripping is about making you feel bad. Wrong. It's about making you feel responsible for their emotional state. That's a completely different weapon. Thomas Hobbes in Leviathan argued that without clear authority, human beings default to a war of all against all. Chronic guilt tripping creates a private version of that war, inside you. You're constantly managing their pain, their disappointment, their fragility. You stop being a person and become a caretaker of their feelings, full-time, unpaid. After everything I've done for you. 4 words that have kept more people trapped than any lock ever built. Trick number 4. Silent treatment. Here's the conventional wisdom. Silence is passive aggression, a childish withdrawal. Stop. That's only half true. The silent treatment is punishment without evidence.
It's designed to make you confess to crimes you didn't commit. You don't know what you did wrong, so you review everything, every word, every tone, every gesture. And in that review, you start apologizing for things that weren't even offenses. You negotiate against yourself. John Locke built his entire political philosophy on the idea that legitimate authority requires consent and communication. The silent treatment is its direct inversion. It withdraws both. It makes you beg for the basic acknowledgement that you exist. Max Weber would call this a form of charismatic authority weaponized. The manipulator becomes the sun, and you start orbiting. Repeat after me. Their silence is not my verdict. And once you see what comes next, you can't unsee it. Because Montesquieu understood something about power that changes everything. He didn't just study how rulers control people. He studied how they make people thank them for it.
Trick number 5. Triangulation. Here's what Montesquieu saw in the spirit of the laws. No tyrant rules alone. They always use a third party. A rival faction, a favored courtier, a comparison designed to make you compete for approval you should never have had to earn. In a relationship, this looks like this. My ex never had a problem with this. Or, everyone I've talked to agrees with me. Suddenly you're not in a conversation, you're in a competition against ghosts. Triangulation isolates you while making you feel surrounded. Elegant, isn't it? Cruel and elegant. Trick number 6. Mirroring. Machiavelli's model, Cesare Borgia, was legendary for this. He'd meet a man, and within an hour reflect that man's own values, humor, and ambitions back at him. The target felt deeply understood. What he actually felt was his own reflection. Mirroring for deception works because human beings are wired to trust people who seem like us. It's ancient tribal survival logic. Manipulators exploit it deliberately, studying you, adopting your language, your references, your rhythms, not to connect, but to disarm. Trick number 7. Foot in the door. This one is quiet, patient, dangerous. It starts small. Can you cover for me just this once? Then, I really need this favor. Then, the asks get bigger. And because you said yes before, your brain needs consistency. Psychologists call it commitment and consistency. James Madison understood it politically. He knew that once citizens accepted one expansion of power, the next expansion seemed reasonable by comparison. Manipulators don't ask for everything at once. They escalate, slowly, until the thing you're agreeing to would have been unthinkable the day you met them. Trick number 8. Fear and scarcity. This offer expires tonight. I won't wait around forever. You'll regret this. Hobbes knew that fear is the most efficient governor of human behavior, but Machiavelli added the nuance. Manufactured fear is even more powerful than real fear because you can calibrate it. A manipulator creates artificial urgency to bypass your deliberate thinking. They need you to decide before you think. Trick number 9. Projection. The cheater who accuses you of cheating. The liar who calls you dishonest. The controller who says you're controlling. Guicciardini, Machiavelli's brilliant rival, a man far more cynical than even Machiavelli, wrote that people's loudest accusations are most often confessions in disguise. Projection isn't just psychological defense. In skilled manipulators, it's offensive strategy. Put you on trial for their crimes. Keep you defending yourself, while they do exactly what they're accusing you of. Trick number 10. Illusion of choice. You can either accept this or we're done. It's up to you, but you know what happens if you choose wrong. Aristotle, in his Politics, argued that genuine freedom requires genuine alternatives. The illusion of choice gives you the psychological sensation of agency while removing the actual substance of it. It makes you feel like you decided. You didn't. You were steered.
Here's what Machiavelli saw. Hobbes built the theory. Locke named the violation. Montesquieu designed the safeguards. And now you understand all of it. You came to this feeling like maybe you were the problem, like maybe you were too sensitive, too trusting, too slow to see it. Now you see the architecture, the whole thing. Not a random series of cruelties, a system, designed, refined across centuries of human power and human suffering to keep you doubting yourself while someone else writes the story of your life. That ends now. Not because I said so, because you can see it, and you can't unsee it. If this shifted something in you, if you felt that click of recognition, this isn't meant to stay hidden. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Like it if it landed. Subscribe because there's more you need to know, and it only gets deeper from here. Machiavelli wrote that the first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the people he has around him. Look at who's been around you, and then look at who you're becoming now that you can finally see them clearly.